Okay, here's the plan. 20 minutes to take you from a Better Auth beginner to almost a Better Auth expert, which I know sounds like a lot to accomplish in not a lot of time, but the way we're going to do this is by learning the 20% of Better Auth features that you will likely use 80% of the time. We'll start from a blank project and set up Better Auth with a database together. You'll learn how to add sign up, sign in, password reset, and a nifty user dropdown with a sign out button. Of course, I'll show you how to add social sign-in options and how to protect your pages from unauthenticated users as well. Yes, we have a lot of ground to cover, but we're not going to rush either. We'll do everything together step by step and take the time needed to really understand the core principles of Better Auth, learn the best practices, and develop a mental model of how everything fits together. You will learn how to build all the features I just mentioned, but even better than that, you will leave this video equipped with the knowledge you need to implement any Better Auth feature, even if I didn't specifically cover it in this video. By the way, I shared an early preview of this video with the creator of Better Auth himself, and this is what he had to say. So come on, let's get cracking. I'm Alex Booker, and this is your introduction to Better Auth. You're looking at a brand new Next.js application, and naturally, the first thing to do is npm install Better Auth. You can skip step 2 for now and jump straight to initializing Better Auth on your server. This is where you set up Better Auth and enable authentication options like password authentication. It's also where you provide a database for Better Auth to store and query your users. That's right, Better Auth requires a database, and that database must include specific tables like user, session, and a couple others. You could create these tables manually, but I highly recommend using the Better Auth CLI instead. The migrate subcommand can create a new database with those required tables, or even help you update an existing one. Now at this point, you might begin to wonder what database technologies Better Auth supports. Does it support your database tech? The answer is yes, probably. Better Auth supports a ton of databases and even has adapters for ORMs like Drizzle and Prisma. Since I'm using SQLite, I'll install Better SQLite 3 and its types, import database, and pass a new connection to Better Auth. The SQLite.db file doesn't exist yet. The quickest way for me to create it is with the Better Auth CLI and that migrate subcommand I showed you before. As you can see, we now have a database with the necessary schema. And hey, let me be clear about something. This is your database, and these are your tables. You'll probably add more tables to the database independently from Better Auth. And then, by the way, you'll have the flexibility to define a foreign key referencing the users table. I think because we used Better Auth to create the database, it might be tempting to think that Better Auth is somehow now responsible for your database. It really isn't. We just happen to be setting up the database and auth at the same time. All the Better Auth CLI does is save time by creating the tables. And then when you give Better Auth a database connection, you're just sharing access to the database with Better Auth so it can insert users when they sign up or select sessions when they access a page, for example. Keep this in mind when moving forward with Better Auth. Okay, you now have a database and you have a server Better Auth instance. Aside from initializing Better Auth with options, the server instance gives you high-level functions that make implementing secure auth and user management much easier than if you were to start from scratch. The thing is, because this is a server instance, you can only call these methods from a server action, server component, or API route handler. In practice, it's going to be very useful to also access these methods from your React client components. Here in this file, you're looking at the server Better Auth instance. You can also create a client Better Auth instance. To do that, create an API/auth route with a catch-all segment like this, and then paste in this handler from the installation guide. Essentially, this route says, "Hello world, any endpoint that starts with API/auth, send it to me, and I'll pass it to Better Auth to process and respond to using the toNext.js handler function." The result is that endpoints like signup/email will now map to internal Better Auth functions. This is great because it lets you invoke those server functions from the client over HTTP. but you don't want to do that manually. Instead, you want to create an auth client like so. The auth client gives you high-level functions. Basically, it's an RPC client built on top of the API, as well as React hooks like useSession, which can trigger a re-render when the user session state changes, for example, if they sign out. The next thing you need to think about is auth UI components. Better Auth requires you to bring your own UI components. You could use v0. I made these in the style of Windows 95 just for fun. You could also use a library like Better Auth UI. I'm including a link in the description. To keep this video really focused on Better Auth logic, I've pre-made some simple UI components to build upon, and they really are simple. Take the sign up form as an example. It's a presentational component or DOM component. It defines the shape of the form data using Zod, renders the form with dynamic validation, and most importantly for our purposes, it calls an onSubmit prop with the form values so that we can handle the form submission in the next step. You can find these components on GitHub. You might be surprised at how quickly you can build features now that the foundation is in place. To implement sign up, create a route and render that pre-made sign up form I just showed you. This is an easy task for Cursor. Here's that onSubmit handler I mentioned earlier. For now, it just logs the form input values to the console. This looks good. The sign up page is a client component. So, as you might have inferred, you'll want to import the Better Auth client instance. Then call signup.email with the form values. It really is that simple. You'll also want to update the component so that when a user successfully signs up, they're redirected to the dashboard page. What's quite nice about the Better Auth client is that most functions accept a second argument with event handlers, like onSuccess. You can use this to redirect the user. By the way, the sign up form also takes an isPending prop that disables the form and shows a loading spinner. You'll want to manage that loading state from the parent component, so set pending true when the request is sent and set pending false on response. The onResponse handler runs whether the request succeeds or fails. If it does fail, that's probably because the email is already taken. You can handle that scenario in onError. I'm just going to alert, but you'll probably want to update the UI. Let me enter some credentials and I'll show you sign up in action. Before I press submit though, I want to quickly draw your attention to the cookies tab. Specifically, note the absence of any auth or session related cookies. We'll come back to this in a moment. Okay, what just happened? Well, first I was redirected to dashboard, which is meant to happen on success, so that's encouraging, even if it is a 404. We just haven't made the dashboard page yet, that's fine. I can also show you that in the database, a new user record has been created. Here's the email I used, my email, and in the accounts table, you can see the password hash. Under the hood, the auth client sent a post request to Better Auth. Better Auth created the user, like you saw, and then responded with a session token stored in a cookie. The browser automatically stored that cookie and will now include it in future requests to the Next.js server. This is a very simple explanation. I'm considering a separate video on session-based authentication. Let me know if I should prioritize that maybe. For now, just know this. If the Better Auth session token cookie is present, the user is authenticated. In even simpler terms, when I signed up just then, Better Auth automatically signed me in. That will be important to remember when we protect the dashboard page in a moment. Before we move on though, let me show you quickly what happens if I try to sign up again with the same email. That's right, I get an error alert just as expected. The dashboard is still a 404, so let's quickly create the page. I want to use this component to show how you can protect pages from unauthenticated users. Remember, in this browser, I'm authenticated. I should be able to access the page, and I can. But if I open a private window, I don't have that Better Auth session token cookie. I'm not authenticated, so the dashboard should really be off limits, and yet I can access it. Let's fix that right now. The dashboard is a server component, so start by importing the Better Auth server instance for the first time. Then call api.getSession and pass in the request headers. Better Auth uses these to read the cookie and validate the session. If session is null, Better Auth could not find a valid session. That basically means the user isn't authenticated and you should redirect them. Once again, I'm authenticated in this browser, so the dashboard loads. Great. In the private window, HMR kicked in and reloaded the component, and it redirected me because I'm not signed in. That happened a bit quick, so I'll manually load the route to confirm. Yeah, looks good. So right now, only signed in users with a session can access the dashboard. That's what we want. In reality, you'll also probably want to personalize the dashboard experience for the current user. To access information about the currently authenticated user making this request, you can poke around session.user from your server environment. I'll render a greeting with their username. You can also access other bits and bobs like the user's email, and most importantly, actually, their ID. It would be very typical in a server component to reference the user's ID and then query data specific to that user to render. Analytics, for example. You might wonder, can someone spoof or hack this user ID and access someone else's information? Not really. This is the kind of thing that Better Auth worries about for you. I mean, you still can introduce security vulnerabilities. You need to be responsible, but generally you can feel good about the integrity of this user value and focus your energy on building cool features. If those features require a server action or API endpoints, you'll pretty much use this same pattern where you call get session with the request headers and then do some conditional logic on the presence of session. Here's an example from the docs. If the user doesn't exist or doesn't have permission, one option is to throw a generic error. You could also look into the experimental and authorize function. If you've used other auth libraries with Next before, you might have handled authentication in Middleware. Opinions in the community vary, but if you're using Better Auth, I can make it very simple. Do not do authentication in Middleware. Do it in your components or server actions like I just showed you, or maybe in your data access layer. With that being said, middleware can still be useful as a performance optimization. If there's no auth cookie and the user tries to access a protected route, there's really no point processing the request. You could use this snippet from the documentation to optimistically redirect them without ever leaving the edge. We're not going to implement this today, but I thought you might like to know. The next thing I want to show you is how to implement a user dropdown with a sign out button for authenticated users and buttons to sign in or sign up for users who aren't logged in. Here's an example of what I mean from Raycast. Rather than code the UI in front of you, I've pre-made two components, auth buttons and user dropdown. They're part of the same GitHub repo I showed you earlier, linked in the description. There's nothing special about the dropdown. It just renders a shad-cn dropdown component and takes a user prop to render an avatar with their initials for the dropdown button. It also takes an on-sign-out handler that we'll implement together. Start by creating a user button client component. And yeah, you know the drill by now. Because it's a client component, you'll want to import the Better Auth client instance. Here's where it gets interesting. We need to access information about the user's session. We did that in the dashboard page using api.getSession, but now we're in a client component. So instead, we'll call the useSession hook. It takes a moment to load the session on the client. While it's loading or pending, just return an empty UI state. When the session has finished loading, the component will re-render from top to bottom. This time, we will not be pending, and so we can run additional code. Here, we're going to try and access the user object. If there is no user object at this point, that means the user making this request is not authenticated. You should render the auth buttons component. Otherwise, render the dropdown. To implement sign out, call sign out, and then on success, redirect the user. Finally, mount user button in layout.tsx. Check it out. This is nice, right? It's simple, but it's a familiar UI pattern that I think your users will appreciate, and signing out is, of course, a core bit of functionality. It's all good and well having the ability to sign out, but I can't sign back in without a sign in page. And you know what? I think we can one-shot this with Cursor. The trick here is to prompt the LLM to base the page on the code, conventions, and UX of the sign up page we already built. Give it a go. While Cursor generates some code, I just want to say my goal on this channel is to give you as much helpful information as possible in the least amount of time. That means editing out every typo and scripting quite carefully to bring a solid structure and avoid any ums and ahs. If you appreciate the density of information in this video, consider giving it a like. Oh, sounds like Cursor's done. I'm so confident in Cursor right now, I'm going to test this out before looking at the code. Okay, dynamic form validation works. The loading spinner looks good. Invalid credentials rejected. Perfect. And yes, I can sign in provided I give the right credentials. Assessing the code, it looks great. I mean, maybe because it's basically my code. Cursor just swapped sign up for sign in that case. And the fact that's all it took is actually pretty cool. What do you say we implement social sign-in next? I mean, password authentication, it's a solid place to start. We got to learn a lot this way, but let's be honest, you probably want to enable social sign-in for your users, like sign in with GitHub, for example. I'll show you how to do that with Better Auth, but first we need a GitHub button. Fortunately, I had the foresight to code the sign in and sign up form to accept an optional on GitHub sign in handler. If you pass it, the form will automatically render the GitHub button. With the UI in place, let's reference the documentation together and wire this all up. I'm going to use GitHub, but as you can see, Better Auth supports many different providers. They all pretty much follow the same fundamental steps. You first need to register an OAuth application with the provider, give it a name, and copy over the redirect URL from the documentation. You'll want to make sure you update this URL when you go into production with a domain. Next, head to your auth server and enable the GitHub provider. Specify the client ID and then the client secret. These values are unique to the OAuth application you just created, and you should definitely store them in environment variables, and you should definitely not expose the client secret to anyone, much less in a public screencast that I'm hoping will get a lot of views. Don't worry, I'll be rotating this secret before uploading. With GitHub Auth enabled, go back to the on GitHub sign-in handler and call signin.social with GitHub as the provider. And just like that, you can now sign in with GitHub. We need to update the sign up form. I'm tempted to use Cursor, but let me save on some tokens and manually copy the handler to the sign up form. It might seem a bit odd, but you should use signin.social on both the sign in and the sign up pages. The idea is that if the user signs up and they already have an account, Better Auth will sign them in automatically for their convenience. Okay, folks, there's just one last requirement to tackle. If you took this project to production, I guarantee you'll need to implement password resets. Otherwise, you'll end up with a ton of support emails. There's not enough time in this video to walk through it step by step, but I'm going to give the Cursor agent a go. Here's a prompt I wrote earlier. We want a forgot password label, as well as pages and forms to request and then perform a password reset. I've also given the agent some guidance. Specifically, I'm asking Cursor not to implement an email service, but just log the email body to the console in development. Let's see what it comes up with. I have to admit, I'm not as confident this time as I was with the sign-in form, but let's test out the project. We've got a forget password label that links to a new form. That's good. I'll enter an email that doesn't exist to see what happens. Yeah, that's not correct. It says the password reset isn't enabled. Let me tell Cursor what's going on and give it another try.
A few moments later.
Drat, same issue. In situations like this, it's worth cross-referencing the documentation. It looks like the method is called send reset password, but Cursor hallucinated send reset password email. This is the most glaring issue. I'll give it an update. And it looks like that worked. The console log represents the reset password email. I'll follow the link, reset my password, and nice, I can sign in with a new password. That really wasn't bad at all. And I wanted to use Cursor in this way because it illustrates an exciting idea, which is that yes, Better Auth makes you more productive in general. Better Auth, when set up with UI components and implemented using an agent, well, that's a real force multiplier. And as you might recognize already, we're only touching the tip of the surface here in this video. Better Auth can, for example, implement an organizations feature, I'd be really interested to see what would happen if you tried to do that using Cursor or some agent.